Cold Eyes, Soft Lies. Chapter 1, First Bell, Last Piece. Hi, I'm Ryan Carter, professional chaos creator, part-time flirt, full-time lovable disaster. At least, that's what my friends tell me. And yes, I wear that title like a badge of honor. Some people survive college by studying, making plans, or, behaving. Me? I survive by laughing at everyone, teasing everyone, and somehow getting away with it. My grades? Let's just say, they are functional enough to keep me enrolled. This morning started like every other morning, loud, messy, and borderline dangerous. Tyler was running down the corridor like his life depended on it, waving a notebook like it was a flag of surrender. Behind him, Jake was screaming something that probably counted as a threat, but no one really cared. "Watch it, Ryan!" Tyler yelled as he nearly bowled me over. I barely stepped aside, grinning like an idiot. "You should run slower, you'll trip and ruin my morning entertainment." Jake groaned beside me. "I don't know why I put up with you." "Because you like chaos," I said with a wink. And just like that, college had reminded me it was awake. I slid into the lecture hall, tossing my bag onto my usual backbench spot. Mason was already there, calm as ever, pretending the chaos outside didn't exist. Tyler flopped onto the seat behind us, dramatically gasping for air. Jake plopped beside me, muttering about internal tests we all totally aced. Then, it happened. The room didn't exactly go silent. It didn't need to. It shifted. The chatter dropped a notch. Even Tyler noticed and stopped mid-whine. I looked up. Vincent Hayes. Tall. Cold. Unapproachable. Top of the class. Eyes sharp enough to freeze time. And somehow, as he walked in, the world seemed to shrink just for him. He wasn't looking at me, not yet. But I could feel him, like a storm waiting to happen. I tried not to stare. I really did. Nope. Too late. His eyes found mine. And in that second, my stomach did something it's never done. Before, it dropped, twisted, and skipped all the jokes I wanted to say. He looked away immediately, professional, distant. But the damage? Done. Then Professor Hart, probably the only sane person in the building, clapped his hands. "Settle down. Today, I'll announce your semester tour project groups." I felt Tyler groan. "This is how friendships die." "Or begin," I muttered, ignoring him. "Ryan Carter," Professor Hart called. "Yep. That's me." "And?" "Vincent Hayes." I froze. Slowly, I turned toward him. And there he was, so close to perfection it hurt. Our eyes met. Just for a heartbeat. Then he looked away, calm, collected. And yet, I knew, somehow, he had already noticed me. Lunch was a battlefield. Tyler threatened my life 3 times over a sandwich. Jake whispered theories about illegal groupings while Mason just shook his head. And me? I couldn't stop replaying that glance. Across the cafeteria, Vincent sat with Adrian and Noah, stoic as ever. I caught him glance at me again, only this time, he didn't look away right away. I swallowed hard. This wasn't going to be a normal semester. Nope. Not even close. Because I had just been assigned to work with the campus heartthrob, the untouchable genius, and the boy with the coldest eyes I've ever seen. And something told me, he was going to make my life very interesting. Chapter 2, Assign Trouble. I decided 2 things that morning. First, group projects are cursed. Second, Vincent Hayes was absolutely going to be my problem. I found him in the library. Of course I did. Because where else would the rank 1, top of the class, emotionally unavailable ice sculpture be? Sitting at a corner table, books stacked neatly, laptop open, posture perfect. He looked like he belonged there. Like the library had been built around him. I, on the other hand, did not. I slid into the chair opposite him and leaned back, letting it creak just a little. He didn't look up. Not even a blink. Wow, I said. You ignore people professionally, or is that a hobby? Nothing. I waved my hand in front of his face. Hello? Earth 2. Ryan Carter, he said calmly, eyes still on his screen. You're early. I froze. He knew my name. I'm never early, I replied. That's suspicious. That finally got his attention. He looked up. Those eyes again. Cold. Sharp. Focused. Like he was dissecting me without touching a single nerve. You were late yesterday, he continued. Today, you're early. That means you want something. I blinked. Wow. You profile people too? No, he said. Just you. Something in my chest flipped. I leaned forward, grinning. Careful, V. That almost sounded like interest. His jaw tightened, just a little. Sit properly, he said. We have work to do. Oh, this was going to be fun. Our group meeting lasted exactly 12 minutes before chaos arrived. Tyler burst into the library, whisper yelling, Ryan! You won't believe. The librarian glared. Tyler whispered louder. You won't believe. Vincent didn't even look at him. This is a library. Tyler stopped mid-sentence. Slowly turned. Whoa. You're intense. I know, Vincent replied flatly. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Vincent shot me a look. What? I said. You scared him into silence. That's impressive. Tyler leaned closer to me. Is he always like this? Yes, Vincent answered for me. And you're distracting. Tyler gasped. Rude. Accurate, Vincent corrected. I bit my lip. Why was this kind of adorable? By the time we left the library, something strange had happened. Vincent was talking. Not much. Not loudly. But enough. Explaining the tour plan. Correcting my spelling once. Rolling his eyes when I joked about skipping meetings. And when a girl from another class smiled at me and waved. Vincent stopped mid-sentence. Paused. Then continued talking, faster. I noticed. Oh. I teased. You okay, V? He didn't look at me. Focus. I smiled to myself. So the ice statue could feel things. Later that day, in class, I caught him watching me. Not openly. Quick glances. Sharp ones. Like he was checking something, confirming something. When I leaned back and whispered a joke to Jake, Vincent's pen snapped. Literally snapped. I stared. He stared at the broken pen like it personally betrayed him. I leaned closer. You know, you're not as cold as you pretend. His eyes met mine. This time, they weren't cold. They were annoyed. Flustered. Something else I couldn't name. Don't assume things about me, Ryan. I smiled softly. Then stopped making it easy. The bell rang. He stood up quickly, grabbed his bag, and walked away without another word. But not before I heard him mutter. Trouble. I don't know if he meant the project. Or me. But for the first time, I was sure of one thing. Vincent Hayes wasn't untouchable. And whatever this was between us, it had already started. Chapter 3, Under Fluorescent Lights. If college had a heartbeat, it would be the week before the cultural fest. Everything moved faster. Louder. Brighter. Corridors smelled like paint, sweat, and cheap coffee. Posters went up overnight. Seniors shouted instructions no one listened to. And somehow, everyone was in love with someone they weren't supposed to be. Including me. Our tour project meeting got hijacked by fest preparations. Professor Hart announced it casually, like it wouldn't ruin my mental peace. Your group will also assist the cultural committee, he said. Consider it bonding. Vincent didn't react. I did. Bonding. I whispered. You ready to see my artistic side? He didn't even look up from his notes. I'm ready to see you be useless. I grinned. Wow. You do care. The auditorium was chaos in human form. Music blasted from broken speakers. Dancers practiced out of sync. Someone tripped over a wire and blamed destiny. Tyler immediately volunteered to supervise, which was code for flirting with everyone. I was assigned stage decor. Vincent was assigned everything else. He stood under the fluorescent lights near the stage, sleeves rolled up, clipboard in hand, giving instructions like he was born for this. Calm. Focused. Annoyingly attractive. I climbed a ladder to hang fairy lights, humming dramatically. Ryan, Vincent called out, not looking at me. Stop moving. I'm literally on a ladder, I said. Movement is required. You'll fall. Is that concern I hear? He looked up. And for half a second, just half, panic flashed across his face. My heart skipped. I'm not concerned, he said quickly. I don't want delays. Liar. Halfway through the setup, Lily joined me near the stage, handing me a water bottle. You look busy, she smiled. I'm always busy, I replied. Emotionally. She laughed, lightly touching my arm. Behind us. Silence. I turned. Vincent had stopped talking mid-instruction. His jaw was tight. His eyes darker. His grip on the clipboard, too firm. Interesting. Lily leaned closer. So, fest night. You free? Before I could answer, Vincent spoke. Ryan, he said sharply. We need you. I blinked. You need me? Yes. Now. Lily raised an eyebrow. Sounds urgent. Vincent didn't look at her. It is. I smiled apologetically and followed him. As soon as we were behind the curtains, I leaned in. You interrupted me. You were distracted. Jealous? I teased. He turned to me so fast I almost bumped into him. Don't be ridiculous. Then why do you look like you're about to fight a clipboard? His breath hitched. Just slightly. The lights above us flickered. And suddenly, we were standing way too close. That night, after practice ended, we sat on the auditorium steps. Tyler argued with Jake about choreography. Mason silently judged everyone. Vincent sat beside me. Not touching. But close enough to feel his warmth. You don't take things seriously, he said quietly. I glanced at him. I do. Just, differently. He looked at me then. Really looked. And yet, he murmured, people listen to you. I shrugged. Guess. I'm charming. A pause. You are, he admitted. My chest tightened. Then he stood up abruptly. We should leave. And just like that, the moment shattered. But as he walked ahead, I noticed something new. His ears were red. I smiled to myself. Under those fluorescent lights, the coldest boy in college had finally started to melt. And I was the reason. Chapter 4, After Hours. College looks different after midnight. The noise fades. The chaos sleeps. And everything left behind feels honest. The cultural fest was 3 days away, which apparently meant none of us were allowed to go home. The auditorium lights were dimmed, fluorescent tubes humming softly above us like they knew secrets. Tyler had fallen asleep on 2 chairs. Jake was scrolling through his phone. Mason had vanished hours ago, probably to preserve his sanity. That left me. And Vincent. He stood near the stage, adjusting a banner for the 3rd time even though it was already perfect. You're overworking, I said. I'm being efficient, he replied. Same thing, I smiled. He didn't. Something was off. I climbed onto the stage and sat on the edge, legs dangling. Okay. What did I do? He froze. Then slowly turned toward me. You flirt with everyone, he said flatly. I blinked. That's not new information. You let people assume things. People always assume things. His jaw tightened. You don't stop them. Oh. That was unexpected. I slid off the stage and stepped closer. Why does that bother you? Silence. The fluorescent light above us flickered. I don't like distractions, he said finally. I laughed softly. And I'm a distraction. Yes. The word hit harder than it should have. I stepped closer without thinking. You know, V, you don't get to act cold and then care this much. His eyes darkened. You don't get to act like nothing affects you. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then. I saw you with Lily, he said quietly. Ah. There it was. I smiled, gentle this time. She's my friend. You touch her like you touch everyone. And you watch me like I belong to you. The words slipped out before I could stop them. He inhaled sharply. The space between us vanished. His voice dropped. You don't belong to me. Then stop looking at me like that. The silence stretched. Dangerous. Intimate. Too real. A sudden crash from the back of the hall broke the moment. Tyler had woken up and fallen off his chairs. "Why am I on the floor?" he yelled. The spell shattered. Vincent stepped back instantly, mask back in place. "We should lock up," he said. "Cold again?" I nodded, heart racing. As we walked out, our hands brushed. Just for a second. He didn't pull away. Neither did I. Outside, the campus lights glowed softly. Night air brushed my skin, cool and calming. Vincent stopped near the steps. "Ryan," he said. I turned. "For the record," he added, not meeting my eyes, "I don't get jealous." I smiled. "Good," I replied. "Because that would mean you care." He left without answering. But I watched his shoulders tense. And I knew. Whatever we were pretending this was, it was already more. Chapter 5, Under Fluorescent Lights. If college had a heartbeat, it would sound like Fest Night. Music thumped through the ground. Fairy lights tangled with fluorescent tubes. Laughter echoed off walls that had seen too many secrets to keep count. Everyone was someone else tonight. Tyler was pretending he could dance. Jake had already lost his voice. Mason was flirting with a girl from the drama club like his life depended on it. And me? I was searching. Vincent stood near the sound booth, black shirt, sleeves rolled up, jaw sharp under the lights. He didn't blend in. He never did. When he saw me, his eyes softened just a fraction. Enough to make my chest tighten. I walked over. "You look like you're about to shut the music down with pure disappointment." "I'm monitoring sound levels," he said. "Of course you are." I leaned closer so he could hear me over the noise. "Relax, V. It's a fest." His gaze dropped, then snapped back up. "You're wearing that on purpose." I looked down at myself. Open collar. Necklace catching light. Maybe. He turned away too quickly. Oh. That was interesting. The crowd surged when the band started. Someone grabbed my wrist, Lily, smiling, already pulling me toward the dance area. "Come on, Ray." I didn't get a chance to refuse. The lights blurred. Music swallowed thought. I laughed, moved, let the night take me. Then. I felt it. That stare. I turned. Vincent stood on the edge of the crowd, arms crossed, eyes dark. Watching. Not angry. Worse. Focused. When Lily leaned close to say something, Vincent's jaw tightened. I gently stepped back. "I'll catch up later." She nodded, knowing better than to argue. I didn't dance my way to Vincent. I walked. Slow. Deliberate. He didn't look away. Enjoying yourself? He asked coolly. Not really, I said. His brow furrowed. Why? Because you look like you're about to start a war. His lips twitched. Don't flatter yourself. I leaned in. You're jealous. I'm observant. Same thing. For a second, the noise faded. The lights buzzed above us, harsh and bright, trapping us in a bubble of truth. You don't belong in crowds like this, he said quietly. And where do I belong? His eyes met mine. With me. The words hung between us. My breath caught. Vincent. The power cut. Darkness slammed into the hall. Screams. Laughter. Phones lighting up like stars. Someone bumped into me. Hands grabbed my wrist. Not rough. Familiar. Stay close, Vincent said. He pulled me through the chaos, guiding me instinctively, protectively. We reached the back corridor, silent, fluorescent emergency lights glowing pale blue. He didn't let go. My pulse was everywhere. You okay? He asked. I nodded. Neither of us moved. His thumb brushed my wrist. Soft. Unconscious. I meant what I said, he murmured. My heart pounded. About? You being with me? The lights flickered. And just like that, footsteps. Voices. Hey! You guys back here. The moment shattered. Vincent released me instantly. Mask on. Walls up. I need to restore power, he said. And he left. Just like that. Later, the fest roared back to life. Everyone cheered. No one noticed the way my hand shook. Or the way Vincent never looked at me again that night. But when I found my phone afterward, there was a message. Rooftop. Tomorrow. Don't be late. I smiled. Under fluorescent lights. Some lies were already breaking. Chapter 6, The Rooftop Rule. The rooftop wasn't officially open. Which, of course, made it the perfect place. The city glowed below us, distant and quiet. Fluorescent lights from nearby buildings spilled upward, painting everything in pale silver. Vincent was already there. Sitting on the ledge. Not dangerously, just enough to look like he belonged above everyone else. You're late, he said without turning. By 3 minutes, I replied. I walked fast. He huffed. Actually huffed. I blinked. Was that attitude? I sat beside him, close enough that our shoulders almost touched. The night air was cool, but the space between us felt warm. You scared everyone at the fest, I said. I hate crowds. You handle them like a king. I'm not a king, he muttered. I'm tired. That caught me off guard. Vincent, tired? He leaned back on his hands, staring at the sky. Do you know how exhausting it is to be perfect all the time? I smiled softly. Nope. I aim for chaos. He turned to me then, eyes sharp, but amused. You do it on purpose. Someone has to balance you out. Silence fell. Comfortable this time. Then he said, you flirt to keep people from looking too closely. I froze. What? You hide behind noise, he continued. Jokes. Touch. Smiles. I swallowed. And you hide behind silence. He tilted his head. That's not hiding. That's running. For a second, I thought he'd shut down. Instead, he laughed. A real laugh. Short. Unpolished. Childish. I stared. Oh my God, I breathed. You're human. Don't tell anyone, he said dryly. I have a reputation. I grinned. Too late. I'm telling the world. He nudged my shoulder with his knee. You won't. Why not? Because, he said quietly, you see me. My heart skipped. He looked away, suddenly shy, fingers gripping the ledge. I don't like feeling replaceable, he said. That's my rule. The words landed heavy. I don't replace people, I said softly. You don't mean to, he replied. But you could. I turned fully toward him. Then tell me when I cross the line. His gaze met mine. Promise. I promise. The city hummed below. The lights buzzed. Everything felt fragile. Then he smiled. Small. Teasing. If you're going to break my rule, he said, at least warn me first. I laughed, breathless. You're impossible. And you, he said, eyes warm, trouble. Our knees brushed. Neither of us moved. For a second, just a second, I thought he might lean in. Instead, he stood abruptly. It's late. Running again? I teased. He paused, then turned back. No. Preserving. He walked toward the stairs, then stopped. Ryan. Yes? Don't make me regret this. I smiled. I won't. He hesitated. Then, quietly. Good night, Ray. My chest tightened. When I was alone on the rooftop, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't teasing anymore. I was falling. Chapter 7, Misunderstood. Silence can be loud. I didn't know that until Vincent stopped looking at me. No good morning. No side glances. No quiet presence beside me in class. Just cold. Colder than before. At first, I thought he was busy. Then I thought he was tired. By the third day, I knew better. Something had shifted. It started in the library. Lily sat across from me, whispering about fest photos and how the internet never forgets. I laughed, leaned back in my chair. Someone snapped a picture. I didn't notice. But Vincent did. I felt it before I saw him, the air tightening, the room sharpening. He didn't stop. Didn't hesitate. Just walked past us like I didn't exist. My chest dropped. Group meeting. Same room. Same table. Different energy. Vincent sat at the far end, eyes on his laptop. Let's start, he said flatly. I tried to joke. Miss me, V? Nothing. Tyler shot me a look. Jake coughed awkwardly. I leaned forward. Did I do something? Vincent didn't look up. Focus. That was worse than yelling. After the meeting, I followed him into the corridor. Vincent. No response. I grabbed his wrist. He stopped instantly. Turned. And pulled away. Don't, he said. One word. Sharp enough to cut. What's wrong? I asked quietly. Talk to me. You should ask Lily, he replied. Oh. That hurt. She's my friend. Then why does everyone think otherwise? Since when do you care what everyone thinks? He laughed. Cold. I care when you make me look stupid. The words hit harder than I expected. I never promised you anything, he continued. I forgot that. My throat tightened. So did I. His eyes flickered. Just once. Then the wall slammed back up. Let's keep this professional, he said. It's easier. Easier. Right. He walked away. And this time, I didn't follow. The days after were worse. He laughed with others, quietly, carefully. He spoke in class. Led discussions. But never to me. I became a stranger in my own story. Even my friends noticed. You okay, Ray? Tyler asked. I nodded. I always nodded. The breaking point came during practice. The auditorium was empty, lights harsh and buzzing. Vincent was on stage, adjusting equipment. I stood below. "You're avoiding me?" He didn't deny it. "Why?" He finally looked down. "Because I'm jealous," he didn't say. "Because I care too much," he didn't say. "Because you matter," he didn't say. Instead, "You're not what I thought." That was it. Something inside me cracked. "Then maybe you never saw me at all." He opened his mouth, closed it, turned away. That night, I lay awake, staring at my ceiling. I replayed everything. Every look. Every almost touch. Every soft moment. And I wondered, was I just another distraction? Under fluorescent lights. Truth bends. And sometimes, it breaks. Chapter 8. Silence. Silence has weight. It presses against your chest, settles in your throat, and makes every thought echo louder than it should. Vincent didn't speak to me. Not in class. Not during group meetings. Not even when our shoulders brushed in crowded corridors. He moved like I wasn't there. And that hurt more than his cold words ever did. College went on anyway. It always does. Tyler argued with a vending machine. Jake forgot his ID for the third time that week. Laughter filled classrooms, cafeterias, stairwells. But something was missing. Someone was missing. I stopped flirting. Not intentionally, just naturally. The jokes felt hollow without someone watching from the corner of the room, pretending not to care. I caught Vincent watching me once. Just once. From the library stairs. Our eyes met. He looked away immediately. My chest tightened. Late afternoon, the practice hall was empty except for me. Fluorescent lights hummed above, too bright, too honest. I sat on the stage edge, feet dangling, replaying everything. What I said. What I didn't. What he thought he saw. I heard footsteps. I didn't turn. I knew. Vincent stopped a few feet away. Didn't come closer. Didn't speak. The silence stretched. "I'm not who you think I am," I said quietly. No answer. "I don't give parts of myself easily," I continued. "I just disguise it better." Still nothing. I finally looked up. His face was unreadable. But his hands were clenched. "I don't want to hurt you," he said at last. My heart dropped. "Then why are you?" I asked. He swallowed. "Because I care," he didn't say. "Because I don't trust myself," he didn't say. "I need time," he said instead. Time. The most dangerous word. I nodded. What else could I do? He turned to leave. "Vincent," I called. He paused. "I'm still here," I said. "If you ever decide to stop running." His jaw tightened. He didn't turn back. That night, I lay awake listening to the city outside my window. Lights blinking. Cars passing. Life continuing. I wondered how something so quiet could hurt this much. Under fluorescent lights. Silence doesn't fade. It waits. And so did I. Chapter 9. The Truth Slips. Jealousy is ugly. It doesn't whisper. It doesn't ask permission. It explodes. The auditorium was packed. Practice for the final fest performance meant chaos, music blasting, people shouting, laughter bouncing off walls. Fluorescent lights burned overhead, too bright to hide anything. I was on stage, arguing with Tyler about cue timing, when someone grabbed my arm. Ryan. A guy from another department, Evan, grinned at me, far too confident. "You disappeared last night. Thought you owed me coffee." I laughed automatically. Old habits. Rain check. That's when I felt it. The shift. The air sharpened. I looked toward the sound booth. Vincent was staring. Not watching. Burning. Evan leaned closer. Come on, just 5 minutes. Before I could reply. Step away from him. The voice cut clean through the noise. Everyone froze. Vincent walked forward, eyes dark, jaw tight, hands shaking just enough to notice. Evan scoffed. Relax, man. We're talking. Vincent stopped in front of me. He said no. Silence swallowed the hall. I stared at Vincent. This wasn't cold. This was raw. Evan laughed nervously. And you are? Vincent didn't hesitate. The one he's with. My heart slammed. The room erupted. Whispers. Gasps. Phones lifting. I grabbed Vincent's wrist. V? He shrugged me off, eyes never leaving Evan. Leave. Evan raised his hands and backed away. Whatever. When he was gone, the noise rushed back, but different now. He turned to me. You let them think they can touch you, he said, voice tight. You let them assume. My chest burned. You never asked me to stop. I shouldn't have to. The words echoed. Everyone was watching. I lowered my voice. This isn't the place. He laughed bitterly. It never is. Then, softer, broken. I hate how much I want you. The confession hit like a punch. The room went dead silent again. My throat closed. Vincent. I tried, he said. I tried to be logical. Distant. Perfect. His eyes were shining. I can't, he admitted. Not with you. My hands were shaking now too. I stepped closer. Then don't. He searched my face, like he was terrified of what he'd find. I reached for him. He didn't pull away. But the damage was done. Voices burst. Cameras flashed. Reality crashed back in. Vincent stepped away, breathing hard. This changes things, he said. Yes, I agreed. But it doesn't ruin them. He looked at me like he wanted to believe that. Then he turned and walked out. Not cold. Just scared. I stood there under fluorescent lights, heart pounding, exposed to the world. For the first time. The truth wasn't hiding anymore. Chapter 10, Not What You See. The world felt louder after the truth came out. Whispers followed me through corridors. Eyes lingered too long. People suddenly knew my name for reasons that weren't jokes. But Vincent? He disappeared. No classes. No library. No rooftop. 3 days passed like that. And I realized something terrifying. I missed him in the quiet moments most. I found him where no one else would look. The old lecture hall behind the science block, unused, forgotten, lights half dead. Fluorescent tubes buzzed weakly, like they were struggling to stay awake. Vincent sat alone in the back row. Not working. Just existing. I didn't say his name. I sat beside him. For once, I didn't tease. Minutes passed. Then he spoke. You shouldn't be here. I know. You shouldn't want this. I do. He closed his eyes. My father, he began quietly, taught me that attachment is weakness. I stayed silent. When I was a kid, every time I trusted someone, they left. Or used it against me. A pause. So I learned to be perfect. Untouchable. Cold. He laughed softly, without humor. People respect what they can't reach. I swallowed. And what happens when someone reaches you anyway? He opened his eyes. They ruin everything. I turned fully toward him. Or they stay. He shook his head. You don't understand. Then help me. The words came out softer than I meant. He stared at the floor. When I saw you with others, laughing like I didn't matter, it felt familiar. My chest tightened. I didn't want to be that person again, he said. The one who wants more than he's allowed. I exhaled slowly. Vincent. I flirt because it's easy. Because it keeps people from asking real questions. He looked at me. Really looked. I choose who matters, I continued. And once I do, I don't replace them. Silence wrapped around us. Gentler this time. You scare me, he admitted. I smiled faintly. Good. You scare me too. A corner of his mouth lifted. Just barely. You don't fit into my rules, he said. I never liked rules. He leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. I don't know how to do this without hurting you. Then we learn, I said. Slowly. Honestly. He turned his head toward me. You'd wait. Yes. That answer surprised us both. When we finally stood to leave, he stopped me at the door. Ryan. I met his gaze. I won't lie to you anymore, he said. But I can't promise I won't be afraid. I smiled. I can work with afraid. For the first time since everything broke. He didn't walk away. He walked beside me. And under flickering fluorescent lights, the cold finally started to thaw. Chapter 11, Soft Lies. Some lies aren't meant to hurt. They are meant to survive. We didn't define anything. No labels. No promises. Just proximity. Vincent started sitting beside me again. Not close enough to draw attention. Not far enough to pretend we weren't choosing each other. His hand brushed mine once in class. Accidental. I didn't pull away. Neither did he. Neither did he. Late afternoon found us back in the old lecture hall. Our place now. The fluorescent lights hummed softly, less harsh than before, like they'd learned restraint. Vincent leaned against the desk, arms crossed, watching me with that careful focus he saved only for things that mattered. You're quiet, he said. I'm listening. To what? To you, I replied. Even when you're not talking. His gaze softened. Dangerously. I lied, he said. My chest tightened. About not caring, he admitted. About being unaffected. About you. I stepped closer. That wasn't a lie, I said gently. That was fear. He exhaled, shoulders dropping. I don't know how to be soft without breaking. I reached out slowly, giving him time to pull away. He didn't. My fingers brushed his sleeve. Warm. Real. You don't have to be perfect, I said. Just honest. His hand lifted, hovering near my wrist. Then he stopped. What if I want more than I should? I smiled. Then want it with me. Silence fell. Not heavy. Sacred. He stepped closer. Close enough that I could feel his breath. Close enough to count the faint freckles near his eyes. If I cross this line, he whispered, I won't be able to pretend again. I don't want you to. My heart was loud in my ears. He leaned in. Slow. Careful. Our foreheads touched. The world shrank to breath and light. Then. Footsteps. Voices outside. Reality knocking far too soon. Vincent froze. Pulled back. Not cold. Just overwhelmed. I can't, he said softly. Not yet. I nodded. Because this time, it didn't feel like rejection. It felt like restraint. As we walked out together, his fingers brushed mine again. This time. He held on. Just for a second. Enough to promise something. Under fluorescent lights. Soft lies were finally giving way to truth. Chapter 12, Scene. Ryan narrates. The campus never felt so loud. Even when everyone was silent, the walls seemed to whisper. Because today, Vincent wasn't hiding anymore. It started in the cafeteria. I was walking to my usual table when I felt it, eyes on me. Not curious eyes. Not admiring eyes. Focused. Protective. Vincent. He was standing near the drink station, tall and impossibly composed. Except, he wasn't. There was tension in his jaw, a flicker of something raw in his gaze. Tyler nudged me. Something's up with him. I shrugged, trying not to smile. Then it happened. Jake spilled coffee. On me? Of course. Oh my, Ryan. I cursed softly, wiping the mess. Vincent was there before I even blinked. Are you okay? His voice wasn't soft. It was sharp. Alert. His hand touched my shoulder. Firm. Protective. The cafeteria went quiet. Whispers started. Phones lifted. Is that? I turned to look. Vincent didn't pull back. Not even when someone gasped. Not even when the room noticed. He was holding my shoulder, looking at me like he meant it. After the chaos settled, we moved to an empty courtyard. I smiled, heart racing. You really did that? He didn't answer immediately. Just looked at me. Do you think they'll talk? I teased. They already are, he said softly. But I don't care. That stopped me. Vincent Hale. Careless? About gossip? About what people think? Impossible. Then why? I asked. Because you matter more than anyone's opinion, he said. We walked together, side by side, fingers brushing once. He stopped suddenly. Ryan. Yes? He hesitated. I waited. I don't want to hide anymore, he whispered. The words felt heavier than any confession. I stepped closer. Then don't. His hand found mine. Public. Bold. Defiant. A soft murmur ran through the crowd behind us, but I didn't care. Vincent looked at me, ice cold but gentle, unwavering. I choose you, he said simply. And for the first time, everyone could see it. The coldest eyes on campus weren't untouchable. They were mine. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered. Our fingers intertwined. Our hearts synchronized. And for once, the world didn't matter. Chapter 13, In the Light. The morning sun hit the campus in streaks of gold and silver, and somehow, it felt like it was only shining for us. I found Vincent waiting near the steps of the main building, hands tucked in his pockets, posture rigid, but eyes softer than ever. Morning, I said, trying to sound casual. He didn't respond immediately. Just looked at me. Really looked. You kept me waiting, I teased. I needed courage, he said quietly. I raised an eyebrow. Courage for what? To admit things, he whispered. To admit his breath caught. I like you. More than I thought I would. More than I should. I stepped closer. You don't have to hide it anymore. Vincent's lips twitched into a small, tentative smile. I've tried to be careful. Controlled. Perfect. But, he took a deep breath, fingers brushing mine. I can't. Not with you. The world seemed to pause. I reached for his face gently. Then don't. And that was enough. Our lips met softly, cautiously at first, testing, learning. The sun reflected off his cold eyes, now warm and alive. Everything I had teased him about, the aloofness, the perfection, the control, it melted away in that moment. His hands found my waist. My hands rested on his shoulders. The campus continued around us. Students passed. Birds called. But nothing mattered. All that mattered was this. This confession. This kiss. This moment. When we finally pulled back, his forehead rested against mine. Breath mingling, hearts racing. You're mine. I asked, teasing even though my chest ached. He smiled softly. Yes. And you're mine. No games. No lies. No masks. Just us. We walked down the campus steps together, hands intertwined, feeling lighter than air. I looked up at him, teasing again. You think the world can handle us now? Vincent smirked, playful. For the first time in months. Let them try. Under the sunlight, amidst fluorescent memories of late nights and whispered confessions, I realized one thing. Cold eyes. Soft lies. And a love brave enough to stay. Hey loves. If you enjoyed this chapter of Cold Eyes, Soft Lies, don't forget to like the video, it helps us create more stories you'll fall for. Comment your favorite moment, I love reading your reactions. Subscribe to the channel, don't miss the next couple's journey. Share with your friends who love college BL stories and heart-fluttering moments. Every like, comment, and share keeps the story alive and growing. Let's unravel more secrets, laughter, and soft lies together. Stay tuned, the next story is coming soon.